Ramos on the line with me as well. AC, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Awesome. Okay, I am excited. You know, we are doing a very special webinar today. Today's webinar is called Marketing for Fast Cash. Basically, what we're doing is we're teaching you how we wholesale 6 to 12 deals a month. And, on this webinar, you'll learn exactly what marketing strategies that are working for us right now. And we'll go through and talk about, some case studies of the deals that we've done, the type of marketing that we use, what it looks like, and, teach you how you too can do it in your own business, okay? And then at the end of the webinar, we'll let you know about an upcoming seminar that we are doing here in Houston, Texas. Give those of you who would like to come out and attend our seminar, you could do so at that time. And so, with that, AC, let's get started, buddy.
All right. Well, here we go. The first marketing that we're going to talk about is bandit signs.
Okay. So AC, before we get into the marketing, can you just give people a rundown of of our business here in Houston? Because not everybody know exactly what is it that we do, right? And so just run down a little bit about what type of real estate that we do mostly, and then what kind of deals we do, what kind of deals we find. Are they single family homes? Are they commercial apartments? And just give everybody sort of like an overview of our business.
Okay, yeah. Well, our big thing that we do a lot of in Houston is wholesaling, which is where we're not actually buying the properties and fixing them up ourselves, but we're finding the properties and selling them to the rehabbers. That is our main game here in Houston. We've done rehabs, we've done the landlording thing, but our main objective right now in this market is definitely wholesaling, where we're quick flipping them to other investors and getting in and out of the deal pretty fast, and mostly that entails a lot of marketing. So that's our main thing, is marketing. And that's called wholesaling, and that's where we take our contract and actually assign it to somebody else. So we assign our rights to the contract to another end investor.
Right. And majority of the time we are dealing with residential properties, like single family homes, condos, townhomes, lots. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. We can do some commercial, and we've done commercial, but yeah, the main thing is single families. Yeah, you're right. Condos, townhouses, single family dwellings, pretty much.
Right. Okay. Cool. And yeah, so so everybody, like I said, we do 6 to 12 deals. We wholesale 6 to 12 deals a month. And so what we're going to do on this call is break down for you, like, how do we go about doing that? Like, what does it, what does it, look like? What does it take for you to start doing? If you haven't done any deals before, of course, your first goal might be to do a deal a month, okay, and then grow to doing 2 deals a month and 3 deals a month and so on. Here in Houston, our average deal makes us $8,700 in wholesale profit. Okay, and so so depending on what your goals are, how much money you want to make. I mean, your goal is to make $100,000 a year. So basically, that's about 1 deal a month that you would have to make. Okay, now because of the volume of deals that we do different types of marketing. At any given time, we have at least like 5 different types of marketing that are going on out there. And so what we're doing today is we're going to go through and show you the 5 types of marketing that's working for us, and how we go about doing these marketing, how we go about, finding these deals. So that's that's what AC was trying to get into. The first thing, that we want to teach you today is about bandit signs. Now, I know that there's a lot of, bandit signs is just a controversial topic, right? Some people, I mean, everybody admits that they are extremely effective. Very effective in finding houses as well as effective in selling houses, buying houses as well as selling houses. Where they get controversial is your city ordinance. Like in different cities, they have different sign ordinance, which makes you putting signs on public property illegal. And typically, when you do that, they'll pick up your sign, or maybe they might fine you. That's it's a small chance, but it is something that has happened before. And it hasn't happened to me personally, but I've heard it has happened to other people. And so that's what makes it sort of controversial. But gosh, man, like nobody can deny the effectiveness of it. So AC, go ahead and share with everybody about how we go about using bandit signs.
All right. Yeah. For us personally, we're putting out at least 100 bandit signs a week, and with the bandit signs, you're going to get motivated sellers that usually are calling other bandit signs. They're usually ready to sell pretty fast. They're if to catch somebody who sees a sign on the side of the road and actually have them dial the number and talk to you about selling their property, they have to be pretty motivated. Obviously, they're seeing your sign on the side of the road and they're jotting down your number and they're calling you whenever they get a chance. And this property right here on screen is actually one that we just recently did. And so this is just a quick example of it, and then we'll go into how they look and stuff. This house right here, this guy, he called us. He wanted to move to another house. He had actually already put money down on another house, bought the other house, was in the middle of painting it and having it, ready for him to move into, started slowly moving his stuff into, but he still had this house that he didn't want anymore. He didn't want the pay the taxes on it no more. He didn't want to have it just vacant once he moved out, and he was pretty much already mostly moved into the other property for the most part. So this guy called us off the sign and was pretty much his main thing was, how fast can you act? He's like, I already got my money in on this other house. I'm painting it. It's we're pretty much moved in. I need to get this house closed, within, I think he wanted to close within 2 weeks. So we told him, yeah, we can close that in about 2 weeks if we can get it for the right price. Obviously, we negotiated it down, and we're able to negotiate it to a price. I believe this one we got for $14,000. The ARV on it was around 65. So we got a really good deal on this one. It needed some work on the inside, not a whole lot, but again, the guy was motivated and understood that we needed to get a good deal on it to be able to move fast. And on this one right here, this is our closing check for this deal right here, was $3,650. This does not include the $2,000 earnest money that we got from the buyer when we signed did the assignment contract with them. So our total profit on this deal was $5,650. So a quick $5,650. Like I said, 100 bandit signs went out this particular week, and he called like on Monday, and we had the contract by Thursday, and then we closed within I think it was within 8 days of that. As soon as we got clear title, we had a buyer in place and we were ready to move on it. So again, this is a perfect example of a bandit sign. Somebody that sees your sign, needs your help right then, calls, and you have to facilitate the deal really quickly. this is what a bandit sign looks like. I'm sure a lot of you have seen them.
Real quick, AC, before you get to go back to the check slide. You can't see it very clearly, guys, but if you look closer, you will see like the date is March 24th, 2013. So literally a couple weeks ago. Okay. And yeah, and so I mean these, all the deals that we're showing you are very recent deals. I mean we're very active in, in the Houston market, and so yeah, I just wanted to point that out, AC.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, just off of bandit signs alone, in the past couple months, we've closed like at least like 6 deals off of bandit signs alone in the past like 60 days. So no, we are very active and definitely out there in today's market.
Right.
So yeah, so here's the sign. This is I'm sure you've seen them out there on telephone poles, on stakes on the side of the road. If you're seeing these signs out there, more than likely it's because somebody's using this technique right here, and they wouldn't be putting out these signs if they were not getting results from them, because it does, you're putting money into it by buying the signs, time and effort of hanging them up, or either hiring somebody to hang them up. So, obviously if you're seeing them around town, you're seeing We Buy Houses signs, it's working in your area, in your town. And it's definitely working here in Houston. I see them all over the place. So again, this is a bandit sign in the wild right there, roaming free. And
and
go ahead.
Yeah, you know what? I just want to make sure, and let everybody know this. As we go through this, go ahead and type in your questions, okay? Yeah, as we go through this, go ahead and type in your questions, and then, toward the end of the presentation, we'll open up and we'll answer any questions that you guys might have. And so yeah, so go ahead and do that. And yeah, and some people said happy birthday to me. So I wanted to thank you real quick, and yes, let everybody know, today's my birthday, and I figure what's a better way to celebrate my birthday than than have AC and I to come on this webinar and giving back to you guys, giving back to the community that helped us grow in our real estate business. And so thank you, and welcome, welcome to the webinar, and thank you for being on the webinar.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So do you have anything else to add about the signs, Tim?
Let me see here. Yeah, so, like I said earlier, signs is just a really effective marketing strategy. As you can see here, like this sign is on the telephone pole. You can put signs on the telephone pole. You can put them on the ground. You can put them at, one of the things that I like to do, especially in a neighborhood that I farm in, is I put signs on vacant houses in the neighborhood, because typically on a vacant house, nobody's there to pick up the sign, so the sign stays there a lot longer. And if anything, I might get a phone call from the owner of the property, and if I do get that, it's great, because now it gives me a chance to talk to the homeowner and try to buy the house from them. Yeah, and then with my sign being on all the vacant houses in that neighborhood, like any buyer that is driving through that neighborhood looking for houses, well, guess whose sign they're going to see over and over, like mine. So they know that I dominate the area. They think I have a lot of properties in the area. And so I like to put signs on vacant houses a lot. I know AC like to put signs on major intersections where there's a lot of traffic. Right? Because you have all these people going to work, coming home from work, they stop at the red light, so you get a lot of eyeballs on your signs. And so yeah, and then also too, like even I also like to put them at shopping centers, shopping strips, because there's a lot of traffic going to like shopping strip, Walmart, Home Depot. Those are all great places to put signs as well. And then and AC also likes to put signs in your lower income neighborhood. And those neighborhoods, typically the sign stays out a lot longer because you don't have, the city's not paying as much attention to those areas. There's typically no homeowner association, and there's no, there's no homeowner that is what's the word I want to use?
To complain about it.
Yeah, they complain about the sign, right? And so they leave it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to stress that if you're just starting out, I can't stress enough how much this is a great way for you to get started. This is one of the ways that I started doing marketing when I first started. I didn't have a lot of money to put into other forms of marketing that that there are of doing. So I would get these signs, and you can pick up these signs for an 18 by 24 coroplast sign, and that's what that is. That these are on is coroplast, which is corrugated plastic. In case you don't know, and you can find these at sign warehouses and sign shops and sign stores, and usually you can get an 18 by 24 piece of corrugated plastic blank for about $1 a piece. Now that's already a pretty good price if you're buying, and that's if you buy about 100. So it's about $100 for 100 signs of 18 by 24. If you buy more, like 500 to 1,000, obviously you can get the price down a little bit. But we sometimes even would cut the signs in half, and I still do. We can cut those signs in half, and instead of 24 by 18, you have 24 by 9. So you just you cut it in half where it's not 24 by 9, half the other way. So 12 by 9. I think that's what it is. So you can cut those 18 by 24 signs in half and get 2 signs for $1. And you're not going to get much cheaper than that. And then you're just going to write your message with a Magnum marker. And you can find the Magnum markers for like, I can find them at Office Depot and stuff like that for like $4 or something. But I found that Lowe's and Home Depot actually have them cheaper, and they're about $2.99 a marker. And you can get about 100 to 200 signs out of one marker, depending on how hard you press on it. And all you want to do is put a basic message on there. We buy houses, and your phone number. I get people telling me all the time. I mean, you can get creative with it, but sometimes I'll find that when people try to get creative with it, you end up putting these long messages on there that, you have to realize these are on corners and stuff like that. These people driving by, they're not having a lot of time to read this long, wordy message that you may put on there. So I like to keep it simple. We buy houses, and sometimes I throw cash in there. We buy houses, cash. But pretty much it's basic. We buy houses, phone number. If they need your help and they see that message, they know who they are, and they know that you're the person that can help them. So if you're trying to get really, really creative, there's a few other terms you can use, but try to keep the words to about 3 or 4 words and a phone number. You don't want to make it more difficult than it has to be for them to read the message and understand what you're trying to do. And make sure you do it very bold. You want to make it as legible as possible. I've seen other people's signs where they write them with markers, and it's really, really thin, and I could be right next to the sign and I can barely read it myself. So you just want to keep in mind who you're trying to reach with this message and make sure that they can actually read it. That's a big thing. If you got your signs out there and nobody can read them, it doesn't do very, very much good for you or anybody else.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So can you guys hear me better now? I know some people said that my audio was fainted earlier, but is the audio better now for you guys? Okay. All right. There's some questions about signs, so let's go ahead and answer these questions about signs here. Okay. This is from Marsha Thomas here in Houston. Where do you buy signs, you buy them blank or pre-printed, and what price do you pay for them?
Okay, you kind of broke up on. What did you say the question again?
Okay, where do you buy your bandit signs? And then also do you buy them blank or pre-printed, and what price do you pay for them?
Oh, okay. I like to buy my signs blank, just because I've tried pre-printed, and I just personally I feel I get a better response when they're handwritten with the big Sharpie markers like the Magnums. I personally buy my signs at a company called Reese's Sign Supplies, and they're downtown Houston on Bell Street. I'm not sure exactly the location, but they're on Bell Street. So if you Google Reese's Sign Supply, you can probably find that location on Bell Street.
Okay. And then, okay, let me see here. Okay, sorry about my audio here. AC, like, if you understand me, if you can just repeat, like, the question, so everybody can hear it. Do you tell buyers you are a wholesaler, or someone else will actually close on the house? I guess maybe do you tell sellers that you are a wholesaler?
Yeah. Me personally, I never really get so specific with it and say, I'm going to close on your house, I'm going to do this. I just say I'm going to buy it, and me and my partners are going to check it out. And as far as me personally and the way my team does it, we consider our buyers our partners. We're finding properties for our partners who are actually the buyers. And so they don't know that we're going to try to sell it to somebody else. And I don't necessarily tell them that. I just leave it kind of out there as, yeah, you're going to get your money, and we're going to buy this house with our partners. So we consider our buyers, our cash buyers, our partners.
Okay. All right. And when is the best day of the week to put out signs?
I like to put my signs out on Friday. Thursdays, I've tried Thursdays too. That works. Most of the time, they'll stay up there for, if you put them up there Thursday, they're still there on Friday, and they'll last the weekend until somebody, if the city's going to take them down, it'll usually be the next week. It is a slight gamble if you put them up on Thursday, because, somebody could take them down on Friday. I have not had that happen yet. Even when we put them out on Thursdays, they're usually still there on Fridays, and will continue. Usually if the signs come down pretty fast, it's not the city who took them down, it's a homeowners association. And it's not going to matter what day you put them up for the homeowners association. If you've got a really picky homeowners association or a civic association, you could put them up on Friday night and they'll be down on Saturday. I have had it where I put my signs out on a Friday night, or had my guys put signs out on a Friday night after 10 o'clock at night. And by 6 in the morning, I was getting a call from a homeowners association just to let me know they were taking my signs down.
That's funny. Okay. All right. Let me see here. And are there certain colors you have the best success with?
The usual is yellow with black wording. I personally like white backgrounds. So I'll use white coroplast with either blue or black writing on it. If I get it printed, and if I do get it printed, I have it printed to look like handwriting, and I'll use blue in that case. But if we're writing it ourselves, the black Magnum Sharpies work really well, and the color stays on there. Because I've had signs that I've had up and I've passed by, and 6 months after we hung it in an area, the sign will still be up there. Not all of them, not all 100 of them, but enough of them, and thus the writing will still be on there. The blue Magnum markers or the blue Sharpies, the color tends to fade when it rains. It'll run a little bit. So if you're handwriting them, I like white backgrounds with the black Magnum marker. And if you're buying it printed, you know, I would go with blue. I like the way the blue shows up to the human eye. I've heard somewhere, I don't remember where it was, but a study that said blue on white was the best recognizable colors for the human eye. And that's, you know, maybe that just stuck in my mind and I made it true, but it seemed to work for me.
Awesome. All right, let's move on.
All right, Craigslist. Craigslist is one of those online classified kind of websites like Backpage and Oodle, those kind of things. Craigslist is the largest one out there, and that's why I like to use it. We'll use Backpage and stuff too. Pretty much the same principles work for it. We use graphic ads is what we're going to show you how to use, and it gets a lot of exposure, and it's free. The biggest thing about Craigslist is it's free. If you don't have a lot of money to start with, you know, bandit signs cost a little bit of money. Craigslist you can pretty much do for free as long as you have an internet connection and have the ability to get on the computer and do some things. So that's another reason I like Craigslist, is it's just a good free marketing tool. This is a property that we actually got off of a Craigslist ad last year. We did about 5 deals off of Craigslist last year. Craigslist, because it is free, you have to place a lot of ads to stay, you know, to stay on top of the section that you're placing your ads in, you know, but it'll get enough exposure for you to get a deal if you're placing enough ads. So like I said, we did about 5 and generated about $35,000 in profit last year off of free Craigslist ads. So, you know, that's a pretty good payday even if you were just doing Craigslist ads. You know, it does take some time. On this particular deal right here, this was another one where the owners moved to another house and they didn't want to deal with this house no more. They didn't want to go back and deal with it. People were starting to go in there and vandalize it. They actually stole the air conditioner. These people, we were in contact with these people for a while, and then somebody went in and stole the copper out of their air conditioning unit, and then they called us back and were like, you know what, we just want to sell. You know, after they got vandalized a little bit and somebody stole their air conditioning. So, you know, we were there to help them for that. On this particular deal right here, again, we got $2,000 non-refundable earnest money, and this was our closing check for $10,000. And, you know, so again, you can see it's, you know, that's a pretty good payday for placing some ads on Craigslist, you know, even though it does take a good amount of them, you know, you can make some money on it.
Did we get that free swimming pool that came along with that?
Yeah, I got it in my backyard right now. My kids are swimming. No, yeah. Well, we use that as a bonus selling point to the buyer. We told them that it came with a free pool. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
And when you post ads on Craigslist, you know, there's different sections that you can post them in, right? So there's the real estate for sale, real estate wanted, you know, yeah. There's the real estate services. There's like several areas within Craigslist that you can post your ad, and depending on the area that you live in. So here in Houston, we have a lot of people that post on Craigslist. So typically, if we post it, like let's say we post it right now, in about 3 hours from now, you know, our ad will be on the second page of Craigslist already. So we have to post it again so that way it gets back on the first page of Craigslist. And so, you know, so that's the key. Is like you want to come, you know, you want to stay on top of it and be on the first page where that's where most people are searching. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're placing, you know, about 20 ads a day, to keep our ads what you would consider relevant. And that just means that it's at the top of the categories for sure, for sure.
Yeah. And then also too, we use image ads. So AC, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, definitely. That's getting to that right now. This is
Okay.
actually one of the samples of one of our ads right here. Goofy little pictures that get your message across. That's going to catch the eye better than, there's other people placing ads out there that could say the same title as mine, cash in 3 days, and when you open it up, instead of this picture, you just see text that says, we buy houses, go to my website. So not only are you just in text telling them we buy houses, you're asking them to click on a link or actually copy and paste it into a browser. Our graphics, we actually have, cool looking little pictures with funny graphics or cool graphics. And then when they click on that picture, it actually shoots them to a website. So, so let me run, you want me to run through and show them how we do the actually Craigslist and show them how it works?
Well, I mean, we'll probably, yeah, because it's short on time, we won't be able to do that, but just sort of like,
well, just the basic, like what's on here,
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
In the housing wanted section, you actually, can post your ad, and all right. And then it, I need housing, and then real estate wanted. Yeah, these are all quick. And then this is the website. Once you place your graphic ad in those sections, and you do that with an HTML link, it'll actually shoot them over to your website. So, and like when you see that graphic that I just showed you a minute ago, and they click on that, instead of having to put that in their browser, they just click on that picture and it shoots them here to your website. And that's what you want. You want them to get to your website as easy as possible because you want them to fill out this little capture box at the bottom with their name and phone number and email address. So of course we don't have enough time to go in step by step on everything, but that's the general way it works right there. And it works a lot better than having just text in a box saying we buy houses, here, fill in my website in a browser and go to it. You make it simple and cool and a little bit flashy for them, and everybody likes a little bit flashy better than just plain.
Right. Do you guys have any questions around Craigslist app so far? Good. Looks like you explained it pretty well, I see.
All right, good. Yeah, that one works really, really well. So let's check out the next one. Okay. Absentee owners, pretty self-explanatory. You got anything to say about that, Tim? And I'll go into it a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, so, as far as direct mail, campaign is concerned, there's many different types of lists that you can send out direct mail to, from the pre-foreclosure list, which I used to do a lot. You might have heard like the 90, 60, 30-day late mortgage type list. And absentee owner list is one of those type of lists that has always been very consistent for us. Like it's the list that, that we can't go wrong. Okay, and what absentee owners are is the people that don't live in the house. Okay, so typically it's a landlord, someone who bought the house and they have their homestead house somewhere else, and so that means that they bought it to keep it as a rental. And so we target absentee owners a lot, and the reason why is because a lot of investors that get into landlording, they don't know what what they're doing, and they think that, oh man, if I just bought a house and I'll find the perfect tenant and I'll live happily ever after. And a lot of times that's not the case. The tenants tear up the house, they don't pay they don't pay the mortgage, and all kinds of stuff. So these landlords become tired landlords. And so we target after these landlords a lot. And yeah, I mean, absentee owners are one of the best lists that that we use, and the best list that we recommend you use as well. And I have not heard any market area that absentee owners does not work in yet. Like almost any market, whether you're in Houston or you're in California or Florida or even Hawaii, absentee owners is just one of those very proven type of lists for you to do your direct mail to.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the name itself, absentee owners, anytime you have a house that the owner is absent on, whether it's a landlord or it's a vacant house and the person's not living there, you're going to come across situations where, even if they were making money off the property and this is what they did for a living for 20 years, you're going to come across the landlord that doesn't want to deal with that house anymore, or the person who, couldn't stay in the house and had to move out and move on. And now, that's why the house is, has an absentee owner. So, yeah, great, So we're going to show you an example of, you want to see this example now of this next property here. And this was a cool little house. I actually like this one. It was not in bad shape. This house is a perfect example of a house that did not need a whole lot of work. It did have a really ugly bathroom. I do remember that about this house. It had black tile. They thought it looked really cool. I mean, it was recently done too. The landlord had done it and put a tenant in here. And I guess he felt bad because the tenant was disabled and he did not want to push him too much. But the tenant was not paying the rent on time. I think he actually stopped paying the rent for a little while. And this guy really didn't want to deal with, I guess feeling bad about having to force this tenant to leave for eviction reasons or whatever. I'm not really sure why he didn't want to mess with this guy. But there was a tenant in there when we took this house over, and that was his main reason for selling this. So this house was in good shape, nice looking. It wasn't tore up, didn't need a whole lot of updating and stuff like that. The landlord just didn't want to deal with having to mess with a tenant that didn't want to pay. And he called us, off of one of our postcards that we sent to him. On this particular deal right here, again, $2,000 non-refundable earnest money that we got when we signed the contract. And here's our closing check for $7,750. So, add the earnest money to that, you're talking about $9,750, almost $10,000 for helping a landlord who had a tenant that, made their life miserable. And, the tenant wasn't even that bad. When the guy told him he was selling us the house, he did move out. It wasn't like the landlord just didn't want to make him move out for no reason, I guess, or for not paying. He would rather just tell him, hey, look, I sold the house, you got to go. I thought it was kind of a weird situation, but those are going to come across to you. You're going to find these kind of deals, and every situation is a little bit different. Landlords are just people too. Maybe he felt bad about making the guy move because he was disabled, and he would rather just sell the house and tell him, look, I sold the house, you got to go. And that's what he did. So we helped him out in that case. Again, he didn't live in the house. He landlorded this house, I think, for like 10 or 12 years, and didn't want to deal with it no more with this tenant.
Yeah, that's a very common issue with landlords.
Yeah, definitely. We actually used a postcard to get a hold of this landlord right here, and this is what our postcard looked like. As you can see, it's just a little cartoon guy with the message hi, and then we would put the person's name in there. We actually have it, where it'll merge the person's name in there and just says, my name is, Joe Home Buyer, or whatever your name is. Again, this is just a sample. I would like to buy your house at 123 Main Street. Simple, simple, simple. I have other postcards we use. They have different wording on them, but it really doesn't matter what postcard you're using as long as you're getting the right message across. The key is getting your message across. That's what marketing's about. If you're in any business, if you're a plumber, you need to let people know you're a plumber. So our goal as home buyers is we have to send out marketing that lets people know, hey, we buy houses, and that's what this is. It's just, a quick little postcard. The cartoon catches their eye, gets them to read it. And if they need your help at that time and you're getting to them when they need it, they're going to call you back. It's just a matter of putting your message in front of as many people as possible. And, this is the way we do it, quick little postcard, phone number, let's talk today, Joe, or whatever your name is. You're just trying to get them to call you back. Have you, what kind of postcards have you had the best response with, Tim? Tim? All right. I guess we lost him for a second. Okay, so yeah, this one has actually had a really good response for us. On this particular postcard right here, because the message is so simple, we get about a 9 to 11% response rate on this particular postcard, because it's just pretty plain. It says, fast cash offer today. We have other postcards that are a lot more wordy. They don't necessarily get the response rate of this one because they have a lot more words and people may not read them as much. And then when people do read them, it tends to cut down on the people who call, because we tell them, look, we're not going to give you a full cash offer. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. We're looking to buy your house cash and at a discount. This one right here is more basic and is going to get a higher callback rate. That particular postcard right there, we uploaded that template to Click-to-Mail. I don't know if you've ever heard of Click-to-Mail. It's by the USPS. So it is actually by the United States Post Office. So it's really reliable. And it's very, very affordable. You're not going to spend a lot of money when you're sending out postcards from Click-to-Mail. Usually, I believe it averages about 40 cents a postcard. And with that, it includes them printing it. It includes the postage and the card itself. So you literally don't have to do anything. It is all turnkey. You upload your list, and you can buy lists at different places. We like to use ListSource, or I've used, I believe it's called, oh man, it's a sister company to ListSource. I can't remember. ListSource is the one we use the most. That's why.
RealQuest.
RealQuest, that's what it is. Yes, thanks, Tim. RealQuest, which is a sister company to ListSource. And either one of those will work great. There's other ones out there that you can find too. I tend to find that those are going to be some of your more accurate ones and up-to-date ones. And then you can get your list from there, and then you come over to Click-to-Mail, and it's a pretty self-explanatory walk-through process. You set up your account. You can pick postcards, letters, whatever you want to do. We just use the postcards in this case for absentee owners. Upload our list, mail merge it. Mail merge it, and that's how you get the name in the right place on the postcard like this, and the address and all that fits into the place where you want it. So, it's pretty simple. I like it because it's perfect for me. I don't want to write a bunch of letters. I don't want to have to stamp a lot of postcards. I would rather upload my list, mail merge it and have it ready to send out. Simple. I like to make things as simple as possible. Systems are my friend. How do you have anything to say about that, Tim?
No, I mean, yeah, we use click-to-mail, like AC said, simply because it's easy. It's easy, it's cheap, it's reliable, and so just use that instead of having to, search all over town to look for a printing company and all of that stuff. So just practice using click-to-mail. I recommend that just do a test and just send out like one postcard to your house. So you can learn the process of what you need to do with the postcards. And since there's only one postcard, it's only going to cost you 40 cents to do that. But at least you learn the process, and you can do that tonight. We always like you to take action quickly, like whatever you learn, you implement. So tonight, go place an ad on Craigslist, go send out a postcard. Just send it to yourself, just to test it out.
No, excellent. Yeah. Just do it, just like he said, just to get the action down. So when you do want to send out a list or something, then you already know what to do, and it's not going to be as intimidating, and you'll just upload your list and send it. All right. You have anything to add? Anything about the absentee owners or is there any questions about that?
No, there's no questions about that, so we can.
All right, cool. This next one is probates. This happens to be one of my favorite. This is another one that I started with when I first started real estate, along with bandit signs, was probates. Because there's not a lot. You're not going to be sending out thousands of these letters. Like with direct mail, absentee owners, you can send out a lot. Obviously, when I first started, I didn't have a lot of money, so a smaller list was better. I actually would go down to the courthouse and pull these lists, and they were smaller. The thing I love about probates the most, though, is the people who are selling these houses inherited them from family members and friends. Most of the time, family members or loved ones that passed away and left them this property or left them in charge of this property for over their siblings or something. Those people are called executors or executrix of the estate. Now, the reason I love these people the most is they do not have an emotional attachment to these properties. They're not emotionally attached to the equity that the person who lived in the house and paid off the mortgage had, because they paid the payment every month for 30 years and that was their house, So these people, to them, they're just trying to settle a business situation for the person who passed away most of the time. You get all kinds of people. Obviously, you get the people that are attached and stuff like that and stuff. But most of the time, the people that call you, they just want to get through this. They're just like, look, I'm dealing with a lot of other stuff, and they really appreciate when you help them, and that's what I like. I want to help them when they need it the most. And these people just don't want to deal with it. They have these houses, and to them, they look at it as a burden sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to pay taxes on this house. I'm going to have to make sure nobody vandalizes this house. So you would think that maybe they would be a little bit upset, and sometimes you get people that are upset. But for the most part, there's a lot of people that want you to help them. They don't know what to do. They've never been through this situation before. People usually only buy or sell a house once or twice in their lifetime, and it's usually the house they live in. So to deal with another sale of a property that just kind of got dropped in their lap or is a burden to them that they don't really want to deal with, they don't know what to do. And so they're looking for somebody who can come in, solve their situation, which is getting rid of the property fast or taking it off their hands fast, which is you coming in at the right time and being able to liquidate this property for them. And again, like I said, they don't have that emotional attachment to that equity that built up over 30, 40, 50 years, however long, you know, they bought and refinanced or whatever they did with it. So to them, it's just liquidating a problem. This is an example of one right here. This is one of 13 little houses that was on this lot. This is in a, it's a little bit rougher area of town here in Houston. It's called Fifth Ward. You know, these are relatively small houses. Each one of these houses they looked exactly like this one too. All 13 of them looked exactly alike. Same square footage, same layout, everything. And they're about 700 square feet. Each house, 800, maybe 750, I think is what it was. So the lady who inherited this house, she hadn't been collecting rent on these properties for 4 months when I got in contact with her. And she actually told me, you know, look, if you want to go start collecting the rent, you can have it. You know, once we decided that I was going to buy these properties from her, and I got them under contract. So I was like, okay, you know, and I actually started collecting the rent on these properties. And like I said, she was a little bit older lady. She wasn't really elderly, but she was older. She just didn't want to deal with it. Like I said, these houses were in a little bit rougher area of town. Some of the tenants were a little bit harder to collect rent from, you know. Her husband that passed away would usually come over and collect the rent on the 1st and 3rd of the month, I think she said. So she didn't know how to do it. She didn't know how to deal with these people. Obviously, her husband handled everything, and this kind of neighborhood, these particular houses were much better suited for a male to come in and handle it, because like I said, some of the tenants there were a little bit rougher. These properties were actually cash flowing about $6,300 a month. You know, so you would think somebody would, you know, just, oh wow, $6,300 a month, I'm just going to go collect the rent and be happy with it and keep these houses. But to her, it was the burden of having to deal with it. You know, that wasn't what she did. It's not what she wanted to do. Her husband did it, and he wasn't around to do it anymore. So when she contacted us, she even told us, I know I'm giving y'all a killer deal. You know, she said, I know I'm giving you a killer deal. The reason I'm giving you a killer deal is because I don't want to deal with it, and just get me out of it as fast as possible. And we actually picked all 13 houses up for $70,000 and told her that we would close pretty quickly on it. And we did. On this particular deal, there was actually a little bit of rough tenants on the end right here, and they were trying to tell me about evicting some other tenants on the other side of the building here.
Yeah. Why don't you tell them like the actual story, like so they could like so they get a sense of why the seller's motivated, like what kind of tenants are these people?
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of wondering if I should go into that, but I will then. This one right here in the picture is actually the one on the far right of the property. But when I came up to these properties, there was a guy behind this house in a truck with some big rims on it. And I went up to him and he was asking me what I was doing around there, and I was like, I'm the new owner of the property. And he said, oh, okay. He's like, this one and the one next to it, you can't see it, but it's to the left right there. He said, these two are mine. He said, I'm rehabbing. It's kind of like a rehab. I'm rehabbing some people in here. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, I'm trying to help them get back on their feet. So I'm thinking, oh man, this is a great guy, you know? But he told me, but the guys on the other end of the property, the last two houses on the other side, he said, now those guys you need to go check out, you know, they're drug dealers. And I was like, oh man, drug dealers. And he's like, yeah, you need to get them out of here. And so me not knowing any better, I'm heading on over to the other side of the units there. I get there, and two guys come up to me. One of them comes right up in my face, and he was smoking some marijuana and blew the smoke in my face and told me, you know, are you the new owner? And I was like, yeah, I just took over these properties. And he's like, are you going to raise my rent? That was the first question out of his mouth. He didn't care about anything else. He wanted to know if I was going to raise his rent. And I was thinking about it in my head, and I was like, well, yeah, I guess if you're affording to buy weed and sitting in the house, I guess I can raise the rent. So he proceeded to tell me, he's like, man, you know, we ain't got no problems over here. He's like, but the guy on the other end, talking about the guy I had just spoke to, he was like, those are, you know, that's a pimp over there, and he's running prostitutes out of those last two houses. And then I looked back, and now with a different view of the two houses I had just spoke to the guy about, where he said he was running the rehab, I noticed that, you know, there was a girl that came out of the house, talked to him, went back in the house, and then there were some guys that showed up and talked to him, and then they were talking for a few minutes, and then he sent them in the house. So then I realized, okay, I got drug dealers on one side of the property, and I got pimps and prostitutes on the other side. And that's when I decided, I was thinking about keeping these properties for myself. So, right then is when I decided, you know what, I think I just might as well just wholesale these deals. And we actually called the buyer that was interested in them, because he actually had 2 other lots with 13 houses on each of those that looked very similar to these. They were almost exactly alike, and they were like 2 blocks over. So I called him. He knew how to deal with these kind of tenants and stuff. So we just decided to call him and go ahead and sell it to him without even without keeping them after all. I just decided that wasn't something I wanted to get into. So, you know, and that's what you come across in some of these neighborhoods. And that's why the lady didn't want to keep them. And she was willing to give a good deal. She didn't want to deal with the pimps and prostitutes and drug dealers and everything that was going on at this property. So that was probably one of my more interesting times visiting a property right there. You know, when we did sell this property, you know, the guy that bought it from us, like I said, it was, you know, it brings in $6,300 a month, or it was when we took it over. It actually had potential for more than that, because only 9 of the 13 houses was rented out. So, you know, obviously great potential there. So it was bringing in $6,300 as is, and we decided to sell all 13 of these houses to the guy down the street for $125,000. So that left us with, this is our closing check of $50,000 on this deal. We collected $5,000 non-refundable earnest money on this particular deal, because I wanted to make sure that the guy was really interested and wasn't going to back out, and he wanted to proceed with the deal. So I made him give us $5,000 earnest money, and then the other $50,000 we collected at closing. That is you know, that was a really good deal for us. And like I said, the lady who sold it to us knew she was giving us a good deal. She just didn't want to deal with the hassle of having to deal with those kind of tenants. All right. Okay, you got anything else to say about that, Tim, before I go into a little bit about the courthouse? I know we're kind of running short on time.
Yeah, go ahead and go into the courthouse stuff.
Okay. Again, those are probates right there. Great deals. Another thing I like about these probate deals is you're not going to get a lot of these deals every year. And it is a little bit of a task to pull these lists and stuff like that and get the mailers out to them. But when you do get a deal, it's usually a pretty good deal. That's where you're going to get your $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 assignment fees, all the way up to, like that one, $55,000. You know, they are, like I said, they're not emotionally attached to the equity. It's just a business transaction to them. So, and the way you find these people is you're going to have to go to the courthouse website. In Harris County, they actually have all the probate documents and information online. And I'm pretty sure most of the United States big counties are pretty much the same way. You know, but here in Harris County, we have the Harris County tx.gov/probate website. and you're going to want to find the database and go through and find out how to, when you go through the database, it actually gives you like the parties right here. It'll tell you who the deceased person was, who the applicant, which is like what I said before, is either the executor or executrix. They're applying to become the executor or executrix of the estate, and they will get awarded that, and they're the person that you want to talk to about it. So it's pretty simple. You're just finding out who passed away, who is their executor, and checking out the deceased person's information on the county CAD. The county CAD, if you don't know, is the County Appraisal District. In our case, it's HCAD, Harris County Appraisal District. Once you find out the person that passed away did own some property, that's when you're going to want to get in contact with the executor or executrix and see if they're interested in selling their property. You know, the way you're going to get in touch with those executor or executrix is by sending them a letter. You're just going to, you want to be very, cautious of how you word you're approaching these people. You definitely want to offer your condolences. Let them know that you're interested in the property and you buy houses in that area, that you can help them out without, having to pay realtor fees, all that kind of stuff. The main thing is just be very sensitive to their situation. They just lost a loved one. You don't want to go and say anything that's going to offend them or something like that. So that's how you're going to get in touch with those executor or executrix. And you're going to use Click-to-Mail again. Click-to-Mail actually will do letters. You can do letters through Click-to-Mail just like you do postcards. I think it's like $1.08 a letter as opposed to 40 cents a postcard. But again, they supply the envelope, they supply the letter and the printing and the postage. Automated, everything automated. Convenience is worth a little bit extra, and definitely, you want to do that to make sure it gets out, and it's very reliable. Again, it's USPS. You're not going to get more reliable than that. Well, I don't know if I should say that, but they're pretty reliable. It'll get there someday. No, I usually really it gets there pretty fast, and it is automated and easy to use. Yeah, so that's really simple, and those are our main ways of generating deals. And like we said, me and Tim are closing 6 to 12 deals, usually closer to 12 deals a month. On a good month, it's easy to close 12 deals, and those are the marketing techniques that we're using today. Literally, we had 6 closings in the past week and a half, and they came mostly off of those type of marketings right there. You got something else you want to add, Tim, about that before we go to the next slide?
Yeah, well, go ahead and go to the next slide. We also have some questions here as well, so we'll address them too. So, okay, let me see here. What do the buy contract look like and the assignment contract look like? We use a one-page contract in our business, both for to buy as well as there's another contract for assignment as well. We have a seminar coming up called the Wholesaling for Fast Cash coming up here next Saturday, April 20th, here in Houston, Texas. And basically, because of the time, we don't have enough time to go through all the intricate details about business. But at the seminar, we're going to go through pretty much from A to Z of what goes on in our business. Okay, exactly how we structure our business. Once we do the marketing, who does that go to? Who takes the call? Who gets it under contract? Who sells it? What contract we use? What assignment we use. You get access to all of our forms, our postcards, templates, our bandit signs. And, you see exactly how our bandit signs look like as well. You see the software system that we use. So you get pretty much like a really in-depth look of our business. And the purpose of why we do that is because we want you to be able to just duplicate what we do. Like, why would anybody want to reinvent the wheel? And like, we're very careful too about teaching you a bunch of stuff. Like, one of the things that we notice that's out there is people teach you. You go to a seminar and you get overwhelmed, and then like you go, let's say a 3-day seminar. You come back on Monday, like you're so overwhelmed with all the information that you learn, you get paralyzed about taking action. And so what we do is we instead of teaching you a bunch of stuff, we just teach you exactly what we do in our business. That's it. Like, we teach you exactly what we do, what's working for us, so that way you don't make mistakes on the things that doesn't work. And so you can just duplicate your business that way. Okay. We'll duplicate our business. Okay. All right. So here's another question: can a person wholesale apartment with the intent of larger assignment fee? AC, you wanna answer that question?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've wholesaled a couple of apartment buildings. They kind of came across with my marketing for single family houses. That's not what I'm intending to do. But yeah, it's possible. And I've had on one of them, I had like a $20,000 assignment fee, and another one was like a $36,000 assignment fee. So you can wholesale. They were smaller apartment buildings. They weren't huge. I think one of them was like 10 units and one of them was like 8 units. So I haven't flipped any big apartment buildings, but definitely it's possible. It's a whole different animal in trying to do that, especially if you're trying to talk about doing 50 units, 100 units, but it is possible.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there are people wholesaling all kinds of stuff, businesses, commercial building, apartment building. So yeah, totally is possible. Of course, the process is going to be a little bit different than single-family homes, right? Because your buyers are different, more sophisticated. Your sellers are more sophisticated, and so dealing with them is a little bit differently. But yeah, you definitely can do that. And so, to register for the seminar, just go to dodealslive.com, dodealslive.com. We will not. We have several questions here, like what if you can't make it? Do we have a live video, or do we have video recording? We were not planning to record this seminar. If that's something you're interested in, go ahead and shoot us an email to support@dodeals.com. If there's enough people that request for it, we might consider that. But yeah, just send an email to support@dodeals.com and let us know that you want the recording of the event, and we'll see how many people are interested. Because recording and editing, it costs us a lot of money, and so we're trying to keep the event down as inexpensively as we can. So that way, we want to give you guys like really awesome, great education at a very minimal investment of only $97. And so if we do have to do recording, I mean, it costs us a lot more money than that. And so yeah, just send an email. If there's enough people requesting for it, then we'll reconsider it. But yeah, it's a one-day seminar from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Here in Houston, Texas, and so it's only $97. And so to register for that, go to www.dodealslive.com. Okay, here's another question. Does the IRS categorize a wholesaler as a dealer or for tax purposes? I'll answer the questions. There's 2 ways to answer that question. Number one, it depends on the type of wholesaling that you do. If you do double closing, for example, where you actually on title, then answer, and if you do it under your personal name, then the answer is yes. That you are considered as a dealer if like there's a certain amount of properties that you do. I think it's like 5 a year or something like that. If you do it under a corporation, then the answer is no, right? Because now you're not an individual anymore. The way that we do a lot of our deals is we just assign the contract. We don't actually get on title. We don't double close on it. We just assign the contract. And so when you're just assigning the contract, then the answer is no. You're not, you're not considered as a dealer because you never owned the property to begin with. Okay, here's another question. What is your maximum allowable offer percentage number on the ARV on average? AC, you want to answer that?
Yeah, it kind of varies depending on the property, the neighborhood. Some neighborhoods are a little bit higher, but generally it's between 65 and 70%.
Right.
In a nicer neighborhood, obviously closer to the 70%, and even lower than 65% if it's in a little bit lower income neighborhood or something like that.
Okay, awesome. So here's another question. Are you going to be selling anything at the seminar? The answer is no. Nothing else will be for sale at the seminar. Now, I guess yes and no, I should say. No, we're not, like, there's no home study courses. There's no other products for you to buy at the seminar. What happens a lot of time at our seminars is we get a lot of people asking about wanting us to coach them, and so what we do when that happens is if there's anybody that asks us to coach them or wanting to get into our coaching program, we'll give out an application for people to apply for it. It's not something that you can buy at the event. You have to apply for it. We have to interview you, and yeah, if you pass our interview process, then that's at that time is when we'll tell you more about the coaching the coaching program, and so yeah. All right, that was my my kids in the background there. They're like rushing me to get off the line because I told them that I'll be done, between 8 to 8:15. So we'll answer a few more questions and we'll wrap it up because I have to go dinner here with my family. Okay.
They sound more excited about your birthday than you do.
I know. Okay. California is hard to wholesale deals from the MLS right now. The answer is yes, that is correct. And yes, direct mail would be much, much better. In most markets, it's not just California, in most markets around the country right now, the MLS deals has pretty much gotten dried up because you have a lot of hedge funds and then a lot of buyers that don't know how to market any other way. They're the ones that are buying on the MLS, and they are paying, they're paying a lot more, for properties than we are willing to pay for it. And so because of that, yeah, the MLS are typically not the best place to get deals. And so, we always teach to market directly to sellers. There's no commissions and stuff like that, and so yeah, that helps. Helps the seller able to sell it to us at a lower price, and we're able to buy it at lower prices too. All right, Brian asked, should I move my family to Houston? Sure, we'll welcome you. I read an article recently, AC. Forbes wrote this article. Houston is the second fastest growing city in the country right now. And Austin is number 1, Houston is number 2, and Dallas is number 4.
Just to go along with that, I was talking to a guy who's an economist and a few other top economists in the United States. They actually predict Houston to be in the top 4 cities for the next 25 years for economic growth. So for the next 25 years, Houston is projected to be in the top 4 cities, and included in those top 4s is surrounding Houston areas like Austin, Dallas, San Antonio. But so Houston is definitely one of the hot spots for real estate. So come on down.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, there's many reasons why they're saying that. But what's going on here in Houston now recently is now they have discovered new ways to get more oil out of the ground. And so I mean, like if you track the oil market at all, now people have started to put a lot of oil rigs here in Texas. And so like Houston, I mean, Houston was known for its oil. So there's going to be a lot of oil coming out of Houston ground, and so guess where all the oil companies going to be doing? You know, they're going to be moving here to Houston, and they're going to be drilling for oil, hiring people, and so yeah, there's tons and tons of opportunities. So yes, if you want to move to Houston, we welcome you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you just have to promise something though when you do move to Houston. Is the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take AC and I out for lunch.
Definitely, yes.
Yes. All right, everybody. So, to register for our seminar, go ahead and go to Wholesale. Go to dodealslive.com. Okay, it's $97, and the seminar is coming up on April 20th. You get to learn, from A to Z about our business. You get all of our marketing, our postcards, our yellow letters, our probate letters, our contracts, our assignment form. You get everything that we use in our, our business. So come on out. And with that, thank you so much for being on this webinar. Thank you for, celebrating my birthday with me. And AC, I want to thank you as well, for an awesome job with the training, today. And so, yeah, thanks, buddy.
Thank you. And you have a good birthday, man.
All right, thanks. All right, anything else you want to say to everyone before we say bye to them, Mason?
No, just I hope to see you there. I can guarantee you're not going to find more information for that price anywhere else. And I don't know how many more times I'm going to want to do this, at that kind of price. So I hope to see you there, and we'll get you all the information you need.
Awesome. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I love you. Well, I'm sure AC does too.
Right. Good night, guys.
And take action. Go to dodealslive.com, and we'll see you at the event. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later.